Okay, mic check 1 2. All right. So, as black people, we tend to get into arguments, especially amongst each other about some of the movies that we hold dear to, whether they're good or bad, and depending on your opinions on the movie is how people think about you. Acrimony. Now, what we're talking about is Acrimony. I'm cutting right to the chase. Acrimony. If anybody has seen Tyler Perry's movie Acrimony, Acrimony is one of those movies where I swear to God I get into the same arguments because all the fucking time because of how that movie was, how that movie was directed. Taraji P. I think this is like my bottom 3 movie Tyler Perry movies, but at the same time, as I get older, I feel like this movie did its job, and it was to have a conversation, and it does teach a more story. But I just think, except for like Taraji's acting and the husband, I still think this is a bottom 3 movie. Let's just say that, but it does give conversations to those that watch the movie. Now, the one thing I've noticed is that the women don't give a damn. The women, every time I talk to a woman about this movie, they don't give a damn that he tried to make it up to her by giving her $10 million. By giving her $10 million and the deed back to the house. They don't care about that. I said none of that matters. While the man is just like, yeah, that dude was a piece of shit. Like, the funny thing is because I say this both of them was the problem, but what can you do? Especially when it gets to the point when they get divorced and his battery hit. If you haven't seen Acrimony, go see Acrimony, because what I'm about to explain is spoilers, by the way. But I'm not going to sit here and give you go to IMDb or watch Acrimony. It's somewhere. But anyway, the conversation happens is like after the battery hits. Now, but for those who did watch the movies, that man did use her, and men will say this: that nigga wasn't a manipulator and he was a user. But he was smart, and the battery, like, he did have a good product on the battery, and he really did believe in his battery. And she did believe in his dreams, but where is your breaking point? And that's the beauty, and honestly, that is the beauty of this movie, is like, where is your breaking point? Because she was right, I say this all the time, she was right in divorcing him. Because he was a fuck up. Yes, he was smart, but he was a fuck up. But the one part where he fucked up at is, and in my opinion, I don't blame him for. I blame his in-laws. And and for those that don't know, it was the scene where it's just like he was doing the trucking thing with his people, and he was doing well. And then they put him on their biggest client. And he was like, this is one of our biggest clients. If you do this, you'll fuck it up. So while he was on there, he gets the call. He was like, oh, they want to interview you about your battery, because he's been pressing about the battery. And it's just like, you better take this or not. Well, and so he ends up going to the meeting, fucking up the other business. And he didn't take, even though they liked the battery, he was like, I'm not taking the money. He was like, because I believe in this, and they're lowballing me. In which he was right, they did lowball him. He was right in not taking the money because they lowballed him, but he fucked up because he fucked up in other people's business. Now, I blame the owners on that. I said, because if that's your number one client, I'm handling that myself. I'm not putting that in no one's head. That's my number one client. Why are you putting this off of someone else? Hell no. I'm getting that shit done. He is like, I don't trust, especially since y'all wasn't really trusting him like that anyway. And the women in there was bad mouthing him the whole fucking time. I'm not trusting him, and that's my number one client. Oh no. I'm handling that. Everything, it's like all hands on deck. Oh no. We're not losing this shit. I will take care of this shit. Because a situation like that, let's say like all of a sudden he could go to his meeting and it's just like, oh no, this is our business. and that was his last. And that was his last straw too. That was his last chance. So now, fucked up everybody's business, or at least lost that client for them. Now, everything that happens after Acrimony is usually like I said, is when the battery hits. And this is after they got divorced. He didn't want nothing from her. He was like, you keep it all and all that stuff. And then, she lost the house because she took out a second mortgage. And, she had to move in with her sisters and everything. And then once his battery hits, he gives her $10 million. He wasn't required to. He gives her $10 million because he was like, yeah, I fucked up. All right, here's $10 million. And the keys to the house because he bought the house and all that other stuff. And a lot of dudes is just like, well, he did pay her back. He don't really and he's just like, he don't really owe her shit. He don't really owe her shit because the divorce was final. And a lot of women was just like, I don't care. They don't care. And you'll hear that from a lot of women. I said, they do not care. I said, that man put her through so much trauma. I said, yeah, and she divorced him. So to me, that's where the argument is always in their ways. And to me, it's just like, the funny thing is the man said, oh no, it's both their faults. It's both their faults. He was using her, but she let him. Cause the first time he cheated, she could have been through with the nigga. Cause she was already splurging on the nigga, and he wasn't really reciprocating. He was just focusing on the damn battery. He was focusing on the damn battery so much he didn't really reciprocate in the woman. So she wasn't getting the love. So she was in the right of divorcing him because he was a fuck up. And he didn't do much. She was doing everything for him, but he wasn't really doing much for her. That is, to me, she's in the right about that. So I'm going to look at two reviews that I'm looking at them blindly. So I don't know how both these goes, but I see one from a male's point of view and one's from a female's point of view. And we're going to look at both of these and we're going to decipher them. So this is the first one from the male's point of view.
Acrimony. I'm not gonna hold you. The reason that she didn't get none of the fucking money and she missed out on the life of her dreams that he promised her is because she left. She left. She left at the wrong fuck. She ran a race that she didn't like. How we know she didn't like it? Because she complained about it the whole time. She didn't like the fact that he wasn't fucking her. She didn't like the fact that he wasn't touching her. She didn't like the fact that he spent 10 plus fucking years working on that damn battery. She didn't like none of the process. She hated the whole process, but she went through it anyway. But you went through some shit you did not like all the way damn near to the end just to give up at the fucking finish line. It's no simpler than she just gave the fuck up. And that's how life go. If you run a track race all the way to the end and you hate that bitch the whole time, but you're doing it for your mother and father, but somebody talks your ass out of crossing the finish line and you stop at the finish line, everybody's gonna pass your ass and nobody's gonna feel bad for you because you decided to do that shit. Your reason don't mean fuck. Hell, the man begged her not to divorce him. He begged her. He was trying to tell her that, baby, I got the $50 million check in my pocket. It don't worry about the fact that I was late. I got the check. Hold up. But nah, she was too fed up. Her brothers and sister, her fucking sisters and her sisters' husbands had got in her head, and the straw broke the camel back. But unfortunately, you broke that bitch back when you reached the city. When he came to her job and dropped off that $1 million check and them flowers after they got divorced, she felt like shit and realized, oh shit. I put in all that work and hustled and worked with him and stayed with him. I dealt with all that bullshit that I didn't want to deal with just to fucking give up right at the end, right when it was all about the payoff. Yeah, bitch, she did that to herself. Both of these people is responsible for the actions that they did. His actions just got him all his dreams and no wife, and her actions got her ass no husband and none of her fucking dreams. When it comes to Melinda ass right here, the reason she didn't get none of the shit he promised her at the end, the shit that she put in work to have too, was because she gave the fuck up at the last minute. While he had the 50 M's in his pocket, she wouldn't let him even get the words out because she was so fed up. He telling her, baby, I got the 50 on me right now, 50 M's. She wouldn't even let him say it. She put him out and divorced him. That's why she didn't get shit. That's why she lost her fucking mind. And that's why she died in the end. All right, bro, let's talk.
There's a couple things he got wrong about the movie. His battery didn't hit until after she left him and divorced him. And then he got with the other woman that I forgot to mention. There was another black woman. And that was another part that the black women didn't like, because they was like, oh, she just swooped right in and took his dreams. I said, he was there for the taking. It's not her fault either. I said, she saw it. She did what she put. I told people, it was like, she did what she's supposed to do. She picked up where you left off. And you know what? And she was actually the reason his battery hit, because she kept looking at him and got him the deal. She was also the reason. So she knew what she was going through. And he did marry her. It was just like, oh, now she's living a dream. And I think that's what pisses a lot of black women off about it most, because that was supposed to be her dream. And then she went through all that just to see another woman live her dream, in which black women, I understand. But at the same time, she divorced him. He didn't divorce her. She divorced him. So he's right about some things, but he's got a couple of the stories wrong. He got some of that story wrong. And if I'm correct, he gave her $10 million and then the deed back. So, that was the man's point of view. He was just like, hey, she gave up. Now, again, I don't blame her for giving up, but she did give up. He was right there, but she didn't give up. So, let's look at
Bestie, let's talk about it.
Let's look at a woman's point.
Bestie, let's talk about it. This movie will show you what happens when you love somebody more than you love yourself. The movie starts off with Melinda being in college and she meets Robert. And Robert has a dream with him and this battery. And we see the dusty-ass battery throughout the entire movie. Melinda's mom passes away and Robert and Melinda grow really, really close. Melinda's sisters are very skeptical of Robert. They never liked him from the beginning. And they tell her, like, no, we don't think you should be messing around with him. Melinda loves him. She buys him a car. As he said, he needed the car to make sure that when these people Prescott called, he was going to be ready to go down there and go see them. He uses the car to cheat on her. That's red flag number one. Melinda being crazy, she runs her own vehicle into his trailer, creating a big scene, an accident. She ends up losing her ovaries. The same woman that he cheated on her with in the beginning when she was a teenager will be the same woman that he goes on to marry at the end of the movie. Melinda is invested. She gives him $73,000 towards his tuition so he continues to pursue his dreams with the battery. She also puts a mortgage up on her mother's home as they're running out of money because he's constantly spending her money with this dream of this battery. Not working, she's working these long hours, and the idea of him becoming a billionaire is less and less and less. When Melinda gets fed up, like a woman should, she leaves him. She tells him, I'm done with you, I'm through. And her sisters back her up and said, hey, we told you about this nigga. You should have been left him. Come live with us. Now, Robert being Robert, what does he do? He manipulates another woman, the same woman we see in the beginning when he cheated, Diana. And the reason why he uses Diana is because she works for Prescott. That's the closest connection that he has to get what he wants. And what does he do? He gives Diana the life that Melinda wanted, down to the name of the boat. So when we think about a villain, we got to give it to Robert, because Robert was the worst type of man you could possibly have. All of a sudden, you want to give everything that I asked for to another woman, all because I wanted to hold you accountable while we was married. At the end of the movie, it's really sad to see Tyler Perry has a funny way of making sure that the true villains live a happy ending. Comment down below which one I should do next. Bestie, let's...
Now, y'all see what I mean about the difference between when a man reviews this movie and the way the woman reviews this movie, right? Now, she's a little bit more detailed than the brother, I will admit that, but she also left a few things out. He didn't manipulate Diane If anything, she blocked him the first time she saw him. She's like, "Oh, this is the nigga that." Oh, she blocked him the first time she saw him. So that was his, like, even though that was his only way to get in. Now the fact that he did send the video, she reviewed the video. She was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna try to get you in." It wasn't until she looked at those videos of him working on his battery and showing that the battery worked, because she noticed she called it a dusty ass battery, right? But that dusty ass battery got him the millions. And like, but you see how the way a lot of women break down the movie reviews, even on the side right here. Robert was not the villain. He made his mistakes. He paid his debt. One thing Robert never lied about was loving his ex. Even after divorce, he came back, paid her back everything, and brought her mom's house back, which I said. And it was willing to give her more. Her pride was the problem. In which, if you watch the end of the movie, she goes insane. She goes completely batshit crazy. But again, do you blame her? I don't blame her, because she done lost her life. But at the same time, you divorced her. So this is what I tell people. It's just like, both of them was knuckleheads. Both of them was idiots. But what do you do? Was they both wrong? No, because his battery hit. And yeah, he was using them. Now, this is, again, I told people in my opinion, I said, they're both wrong. She, to me, is just like, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm just harping over, because yes, he was a manipulator, and yes, he did, like, the first thing he did was cheat on her when he got her a car, so he really did. And by the way, she ended up having a hysterectomy, so she couldn't have children, because she wanted children, couldn't have children, but he knew that she was crazy. Like, oh no, she really out there, but she supported him. But again, once his battery hits, the first thing he does is try to he's like, look, I know I'm not getting back with you, but at least let me do this for you. I'm gonna give you the 10. He said, gave you the 10 mil and the deed to your mom's house and house keys. At least that's the least I can do. He's like, I'm sorry I couldn't give you the life that you wanted, but at least let me do this. And again, once she saw that other woman in there, that's where she went. I think the other woman part is what ticked her off, to me. It's not that they was living in a house without her. That there was another woman there, because I feel like if the other woman was there, she probably would have took him back. Because if you seen the fact that she came in with the dress scope and the sexy lingerie and all this, oh my God, this is the house that you said this is what you would say you promised that you give him. He's like, he wanted to fulfill that promise, and I don't think he was, like I said, he was a piece of shit, because he could have done more. He focused so much on that damn battery, and she was putting so much work in that it made him look really bad. And I said this, it was like, he got a couple jobs, and then she said he got a couple jobs here and there, but he couldn't keep a job. And she was the one holding the house down while he was working on his fucking battery. So, like I said, there's a funny way of looking at this movie that a lot of people talk about, but this is one of those movies that, depending on how you look at it, is depending on how you see this movie. I get that's a simple way, but that's all I wanted to talk about. If you like this, let me know if you want to break down more shit about this, because this was kind of you see both sides, like I said. Till then, my name is Oscar Fly, and I'm out. Peace.